Good morning. I hope you guys are all excited about our field trip today to Discovery World. Not only are you going to see a lot of cool science exhibits and do a robotics lab, but you're also going to be looking at exhibits and the way that they're set up to prepare you for our astronomy unit. We are going to be doing our astronomy unit a little bit different this year, and students are going to work in groups, and we are going to create our own astronomy museum. And so in groups, you're going to be creating a museum exhibit on a certain astronomy topic. And we actually are going to have a museum here and open it to families and to the public. So as you are at Discovery World, which is a type of museum, we want you to look closely at how the exhibits are set up and get some ideas of what might work or what might not work for your particular exhibit. So you are going to be given a hard copy of this observation guide when you are at Discovery World, and we want you to fill it in. The more notes you can take on the different exhibits, the more helpful it will be when you do your astronomy museum exhibit. So if you look at this guide, obviously you need your name and the date and the name of the exhibit that you're writing about. You can take pictures of different parts of the exhibit so you have something to remember and look at later on. Even take pictures of the label copy, which is the writing, the stuff that you have to read at the exhibit, because there's a very specific way you want to write your information. You don't want it to be too much or too overwhelming to the visitor. When you're looking at the exhibit, notice, does it engage you? And if it does, how does it capture your attention? How does it keep your interest? Part of what the museum is supposed to do is it's supposed to teach and inform you. So when you're looking at a particular exhibit, how does the exhibit do that? What is it trying to tell you? Then look at what you see. What kinds of objects or images are used to tell the story? Do they have any interactives like videos or buttons to push or things to try? Discovery World has a lot of interactives. Some other museums don't. So put down the ones that are interesting to you and why they're interesting to you. How do they use lighting and color for their exhibit, and what effect does that have on the story that they're trying to tell? Look at the text. How is that text used to interpret what these objects and images are? And then look at how it's organized. How is it set up? Everything in the exhibit is strategically placed for a reason. So look at your exhibit and tell how it's organized and why you think it's organized that way. What's creative about the exhibit? Is there some clever or unique way that things are displayed in this particular exhibit? How is this exhibit used to teach? Does it teach you something new, or does it help you see something you know but in a different way? How does the exhibit do that? What should you remember about this exhibit? What are some things we don't really want to use in our own exhibit that maybe really wasn't effective for you? And then any other notes from your visit that will help you later on making your own museum exhibit. So before we go, I want you to use the digital copy that you have of this on Google Classroom, and I want you to open up the PowerPoint that says Museum Exhibit Examples. These are pictures from different museums that I visited when I was in Washington, D.C. Some of the pictures are from a museum that talks about the White House and all the different aspects of the White House and the different presidents that lived there. The second set of pictures is from the Air and Space Museum. So you're going to see lots of things like airplanes and parts of airplanes and different spacecraft. And there's even stuff about pilots and flight attendants. So look through the pictures and look at the digital observation guide. And how would you answer some of those questions looking at some of these pictures? Then I want you also to go to the other link that I have, which is the Smithsonian Museum of Natural History, but it's a virtual tour, so you don't have to actually be there. You can use this, and you can look at different exhibits. There's permanent exhibits, past exhibits, all different places. And when you pick an exhibit, And again, use the observation guide, the digital one, and try to answer some questions about that exhibit just so that you can practice before we actually go to Discovery World. So when you're on the virtual exhibit, here's past exhibits. So when I click on it, I can decide what one I want to look at. And it will take me to that exhibit. I'm going to look at the ancient seas. And you can zoom in, you can zoom out. You can turn. Notice some of the things hanging from the ceiling. Notice how here's what we would call label copy. So go through and look at different exhibits and try to go through the observation guide just to get some practice. This again is all in preparation for you making a museum exhibit on a topic in astronomy. Remember, when we're at Discovery World, we expect your best behavior. You are representing the school, and we want to make sure that we have the opportunity to come back in the future. Make sure you stick with your group leaders, follow their directions, and make sure you fill out what you need. Sorry, my Siri. So I hope we have a good time at Discovery World. I hope you learn a lot, and I hope you get some ideas for your project.